The news broke like thunder across the internet. It's official. Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe are reuniting in a 2026 Hollywood blockbuster. Within minutes, hashtags exploded, fan pages reignited, and timelines were filled with clips from Outlander, interviews from years past, and comments from millions of fans who had spent nearly a decade waiting for this very moment. The reunion the world didn't expect had finally happened. For years, audiences had begged for it. Ever since the Outlander finale aired, fans around the globe had carried a silent hope that one day, Sam and Caitríona would share the screen again. Together, they had created one of television's most unforgettable love stories, Jamie and Claire, a bond so electric that it blurred the lines between fiction and reality. And when the show ended, that spark, though unseen, never truly died. It lived on in fan edits, nostalgic quotes, and wistful comments under every photo they posted. Then, out of nowhere, Hollywood answered that wish. The announcement came from one of the industry's biggest studios, teasing an untitled film, centered on love, time, and second chances. But the detail that sent shockwaves through the internet was the cast list: Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe, side by side again. Fans screamed, cried, and shared theories within minutes. "This can't be real," one tweet read. "They're back. I can't believe it's actually happening," wrote another. Even celebrities who were fans of Outlander congratulated them publicly. Behind the glamour of the news, however, was a story of timing, choices, and fate. After Outlander, Sam had thrown himself into action and romantic comedies, building a name in Hollywood with his signature charm and intensity. Caitríona, meanwhile, carved a different path, diving into independent cinema, producing, and earning critical acclaim for roles that showed her depth and quiet power. Their careers grew apart, like two stars moving in separate orbits, yet always close enough that the world still linked their names together. And then came 2026. Rumors first surfaced when both actors were spotted in Los Angeles around the same time, each attending meetings at Paramount Studios. No one thought much of it, until fans noticed they'd started following the same director on Instagram. Within days, paparazzi captured them leaving the same production office, laughing in the golden California sunlight. The internet went wild. "They're working together again," people whispered. But no one could confirm it. Until now. The film's director, known for his sweeping emotional dramas, revealed in an exclusive interview that he'd been trying for years to bring Sam and Caitríona back together. "Their connection is rare," he said. "What they have can't be replicated. When they're in the same room, something happens. You can't look away." That was all it took for the internet to explode again. The film's title remained a secret, but the theme, love rediscovered after years apart, only fueled the excitement. Fans immediately drew parallels to their own story. Two actors whose chemistry had defined an era, returning to the screen older, wiser, and still perfectly in sync. As the first production photos leaked, the reactions were beyond anything the studio expected. One image in particular broke the internet: Sam and Caitríona standing side by side on a sunlit street set in Los Angeles, their faces inches apart, eyes locked in that same unmistakable connection that made millions fall in love years ago. It didn't look like acting. It looked real, too real. In online forums, longtime fans wrote emotional posts about how much they'd missed seeing them together. "Their energy hasn't changed," one comment read. "They look like they never stopped being Jamie and Claire, just living a new life under different names." The nostalgia was overwhelming. Edits flooded TikTok and YouTube, blending old Outlander clips with the new behind-the-scenes shots, as if the love story had never ended, only paused, waiting for 2026. But beyond the hype, there was a deeper, quieter sentiment. For many fans, this wasn't just about two actors. It was about seeing something timeless, the rare kind of bond that outlives scripts, contracts, and even years apart. The reunion felt like closure, and yet also a beginning. Sam himself hinted at this in a brief post on his Instagram. A single photo of a movie clapperboard and the caption, "Some stories are meant to continue." Caitríona reposted it hours later with 3 simple words: "Here we go again." The internet melted. Was it nostalgia? Destiny? Or simply good casting? No one really knew. All that mattered was that they were back, together, once more, ready to light up the screen in a way only they could. And as the cameras rolled for the first time, one thing became certain. Whatever this movie turned out to be, it wasn't just another project. It was a reunion the world had been waiting for, a reminder that some connections never fade, they just wait for the right moment to return. The reunion wasn't just another movie deal. It felt like a moment written by fate. The first day on set was charged with emotion. The studio lights buzzed softly, the crew whispered with anticipation, and when Sam and Caitríona finally walked onto the stage together, an uncanny hush fell over everyone. Years had passed since they'd last shared a frame, yet in that instant, it was as if time had folded back on itself. A crew member later described it perfectly. When they looked at each other, it was like watching two people find home again. That day, the director chose to start filming one of the most intimate scenes, a reunion between two lovers who meet again after years apart. It was risky, intense, and emotionally raw. But the moment the cameras rolled, something magical happened. No one moved. The air grew thick with tension and tenderness as Sam reached out, brushed a strand of hair from Caitríona's face, and whispered his line. The silence that followed was electric. Even the crew forgot to breathe. When the director finally yelled, "Cut," no one spoke for several seconds. Then, slowly, applause broke out. It wasn't just for the performance, it was for what it meant. A decade of shared history, nostalgia, and unspoken emotion had come alive right there on screen. Behind the scenes, both actors spoke candidly about what the reunion meant to them. In a quiet interview for Variety, Sam admitted, "When I first saw her again, I couldn't help but smile. We've been through so much, not just as co-stars, but as friends. Coming back together felt right." Caitríona echoed the sentiment. "It's like revisiting a part of yourself you thought you'd left behind," she said. "Working with Sam again reminded me why our story connected with so many people. There's a trust there, something unspoken that never really fades." The media couldn't get enough. Every entertainment outlet dissected their words, their gestures, their smiles. Headlines screamed, "Chemistry rekindled," and "Heughan and Balfe spark again on set." Social media flooded with fan edits, analyzing every behind-the-scenes clip, every interview glance. It was as if the whole world had been waiting for permission to believe in their connection again. Yet behind the excitement was something deeper, a kind of quiet respect between two artists who had shared something once in a lifetime. Insiders described how they often stayed late on set, running lines, laughing between takes, and helping each other perfect emotional scenes. One crew member confessed, "There were moments when you couldn't tell where acting ended and real emotion began." The director later confirmed this in an interview. "They weren't performing," he said. "They were remembering. Every glance, every pause, it all came from a place that only they understood." The film's theme, two people rediscovering each other after years apart, mirrored their real journey in uncanny ways. Both had grown, both had changed, yet the connection was still there, alive and undeniable. Watching them work together was like witnessing two souls speak a language only they could hear. When the trailer finally dropped online, it shattered records overnight. The first 30 seconds showed Sam and Caitríona walking toward each other under a golden sunset, the music swelling softly. No dialogue, no context, just that look. Within hours, millions of views poured in, with comments like, "They don't even need words. That chemistry is eternal. I'm crying and I don't even know why. They're not acting. They're reliving something real." Hollywood called it the comeback of the decade. For fans, it was more than that. It was closure, nostalgia, and hope rolled into one breathtaking moment. During the film's press tour, both stars handled the inevitable questions with grace. When asked if their on-screen connection reflected something deeper, Sam laughed gently. "We've always had a great partnership," he said. "Caitríona is family to me. That's why it works, there's trust." Caitríona smiled beside him. "You can't fake trust," she added. "That's what people feel when they watch us." And maybe that was the truth. the secret ingredient that made their reunions so powerful. It wasn't romance or rumor. It was something far rarer: authentic connection. As filming wrapped, the final day on set was emotional. The last scene they shot mirrored their real journey, two people saying goodbye, knowing their paths might cross again someday. When the director called the final cut, Caitríona turned to Sam and hugged him tightly. Cameras weren't rolling anymore, but someone captured a photo, their embrace, soft and sincere. That image would soon become iconic, symbolizing not just the end of a movie, but the endurance of a bond that had defined an era. Months later, as awards season buzzed and critics praised their performances, fans still replayed that trailer, that look, that hug. Because in a world obsessed with fleeting fame and fabricated stories, Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe had reminded everyone what real connection looks like: unforced, timeless, and true. The world called it a reunion. But to those who had followed their journey from the very beginning, it felt more like destiny catching up, one more time.